Good evening and welcome to IntellectualRadio.com. You are here. We are live on Facebook with Here's the Life with Zemrah and my better half Ed. And as I promised you earlier that I would have two fine sisters joining us today who are beautiful, beautiful women. I call them not only my friends, but definitely my sisters. And of course, you've seen Pamela Wilkes, who is the one of the people that write. Well, she is the person that has written the lyrics on "Love Is Possible" CD, along with myself. She's done my Mister, and we call it "That Is a Woman Talking to Her Man." And then "You Are," which I think is absolutely fabulous. And it is the wedding song. I think it should be the wedding song for 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, forever. It is just a beautiful, beautiful tune. And she also did "I See You." And it's just her lyrics, as always, tell a story. So we welcome you.
Thank
Pamela
you.
Wilkes.
So happy to be here.
She's so talented. She was here before with our for last month with our Health is Your Wealth. So we're talking about wealth always. And then we have the lovely, lovely Miss Patricia Creighton joining us.
Hello, hello.
Yes. So we are going to, because time, whenever you're having fun, time just runs out. So we're going to start out right quick and just start, just ask, first of all, this is our love segment, and we're going to jump right in. And these women definitely, we know, and I know, and Ed even knows, these are not desperate women. We just have some questions. I got them to come and join us today so we can find out a little bit about what they think is the problem with the way men think. And so one of the things that they're women that have been treated very well by men. So I want to find out, what do you look for in a man? Pat, what do you look for in a man?
I look for a man with character, with integrity, with decency, and with a great sense of humor.
Yes, and I think that's real important. Very important.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, what do you look for in a man, Pamela?
I'm someone who is honest, sincere, sensitive, a man who is confident in himself, that he doesn't have any problem or challenges with anyone else being confident, a person who is comfortable with his peers and respected among his peers and family members and business associates. So it's just really important that he knows and he is clear with who he is.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things I was going to say. So, do you think women like yourselves that men tend to sometimes be intimidated by strong women, and then why would they be?
I don't think it's intimidation or anything like that, because a real man is not intimidated by any woman, not really. And I don't know, but I can't say what a man thinks or feels. I think it's really important for us as women to listen and understand and try to more so hear what men say they want, what they need. And I think that's one of the things that we as women, a lot of times, we don't do. We try to say what we think they mean by what they say. So I think I don't think that guys are intimidated. Not a real man, but guys who are somewhat insecure, guys who Ed and I and Pat were talking earlier, guys who are led by fear, guys who are not honest with themselves, and so it makes it very difficult for them to be honest with anyone else.
Now, what is your take on that, Pat?
You know what? I think when I say, you want someone with character, I think the most important character or a quality that someone can have is courage. And I think it takes courage to be honest and clear and have enough self awareness to know what it is you're looking for and what you want and how you really feel. And I am just not sure that enough men have taken the time or have been allowed the freedom to really do a lot of self reflection and self analysis to really determine and identify who they are and what they really want. And sometimes they may go with what they think is the easiest. And sometimes the easiest may be allowing someone to chase them or allowing someone to overwhelm them. And because there are a lot more available women than there are men, sometimes women may have a tendency to be a little more aggressive, particularly nowadays, is what I found. And it may be a little easier for men. So rather than them do the work, they may
They'll just go to the next one since
and it requires a bit of courage to take a stand and really identify what it is you want.
I think so. And to embrace a relationship and get to know the person. One of the things that I think, and we talk about this all the time too, is that I notice that is what is so great about you all is that you're very, very comfortable with yourselves. And you don't have to have necessarily a man to make you happy, possibly a man to make you complete as a woman, because we all need that. But as far as happiness, contentment, knowing exactly who you all are, do you find that to be true?
I think I'll speak to that because I find that to be true, and I attribute that to being raised by a great father and a great mother, and the way they raised my brother and the men in my life growing up helped me to develop enough self-esteem where I did not have to tolerate just anything. And I had a good example of what manhood looks like in my immediate home and my immediate environment. So that set the expectation and the standard for me. So, I think that's a great basis to start.
And you didn't have to feel, in other words, you didn't have to feel like you had to settle.
Correct.
And I think a lot of times women, they do feel that they have to settle. And that's not always the case when you feel comfortable with who you are. Now, Pam, what is you?
Well, I don't think women realize that they are settling. I as Pat said, when you started off with a great foundation, and that's a great foundation in anything, any relationship.
Absolutely.
The foundation must be solid. So if you started off in a foundation where you are loved and respected and adored by the men in your life as a female, you're just going to automatically feel like, how can I feel any different if everybody else feels this way about me that's in my life? So, but I think that because we do have a situation in our culture, for whatever reason, a lot of men are absent. And so women and men just have a very rare opportunity to be raised by someone who is loving, who is supportive, who is adoring, who teach you by example what a real man looks like.
Yeah.
So that's a hindrance to women as well as men.
Absolutely.
So I think that and again we were talking about what's the solution, because we can really talk all day, but we have to get to a point where we find solutions to what's challenging our relationships. And one of the things, in my opinion, is Men who are in good relationships, men who have been the kind of role models for their daughters and their sons, they need to speak up. They need to tell guys when they're doing things that's just disrespectful, or they say things out of line, or even when they're just among the guys, they need to say something and say, hey man, they need to sort of pull their tail. And so I think that's one of the things that, in my opinion, as a female, that good guys need to do. Ed, what do you think about that? Mm-hmm.
I noticed she looked at me when she said that. I was like, I tried.
I know you do. Yeah.
You're right. They are the men out here, but most of them who aren't comfortable in relationships and they are honored or respected by their families, they don't really have time to do a lot of interaction with people who don't listen. And most men don't listen.
Mm.
They're definitely not going to listen to another man. And they
Alrighty.
definitely ain't going to listen to another woman.
And I think that's awful.
Yeah.
Well, it is because
why do you say that?
Because they were
That's not a good
never
thing.
taught in order to learn. You have to listen. That's why you only have 2 ears and 1 mouth. You're supposed to listen at least twice as much, which is the only way you're going to learn. But that's why I teach my grandsons and the young men in my life. I tell you need to learn how to listen before you learn how to speak.
I think sometimes, and not to cut you off, but I think sometimes where that comes from is that men look at women a lot of times as being very emotional. Well, yeah, we are very emotional, but that's where the tenderness and the sensitivity also comes in at. So,
never wrong being emotional.
Right, but then why? Then what is it that would make a man not listen?
Because he was never trained to handle it.
Okay,
he was never trained to handle a woman's emotions because he was taught not to have any or to hide them the best you can because that's a sign of weakness. So therefore, you shouldn't show it. If a woman shows it, he doesn't know where to go with it because he don't know how to console her or anything like that. He knows where she's coming from. It's either, get over it, something like that. But he doesn't understand where that's coming from. So we need a whole another cultural, education about who we are, where we come from, and how we got to be the way we are. In order to save the entire community, you have to open up a dialogue and conversations about the relationships between men and women. Because young boys these days are not getting it.
That's right.
Because there's no one at home to tell them. They just run in the streets and just following what they see on TV, and in other media and online, on videos and whatnot.
And then I think another thing too. Now, what is your opinion? And with the world going the way it is, and it's so much openness to that now, men turning to men.
Well, I can't speak on that. You get genes. I have no idea.
I'm saying, what would you think would be the reason for that?
It's got to be hormonal type genes type thing. I have no control over that. I don't judge because I don't make anybody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't create no human beings and how they got here. But you can respect it, but you don't have to make that the norm and say that's okay and that's normal, because it's not. 2 men can't make nothing. You find yourself extinct if that keeps up. So, my measure of if something is wrong or right is ask myself, if everybody did it, what would be the outcome? What would be the effect? Would it be positive or negative? If it's negative, well, you got to stop doing it. And if the people are born that way, then fine. You can't do nothing about that. That's just indicative of the time you're living in and the spirit that you've grown in your community and in your world. Those are the results. Live with it, but you don't have to promote it and say it's okay, because it's not.
Exactly. Okay, right. We're here at Intellectual Radio talking about love and relationships. And make sure that you like me on Facebook. My CD is Love is Possible, and it is possible. I want you all to know that.
When I look in your eyes, I see the depths of your soul. I see your tenderness, your lovely, your sweetness, my darling. I see you when I hold your face in the palm of my hand and slowly pull you close. We kiss so tenderly. That's why I see you. I come alive for my love for you is true. I see you, my darling, my baby, 'cause I see you. If it's morning dawn or moonlight night, my love for you shines oh so bright. I'm vulnerable for happiness. That's why I see you, baby. I adore you, need and want you so. Yes, my lovely, my darling, my love. I see you. I see you. You make my wishes come true. I'm so mad about you. I dream of you
I see
every
you.
night.
Lyrics by Miss Pamela Wells.
Make things right.
Okay, one of the things that that I want to ask, and maybe Ed can maybe just expound on a little bit about that. But what do you think that men are looking for, and what do you think that they want in relationships?
Ooh, that's a combination. You say what they want, then you say relationships.
Well, that's what
They're
we're talking
looking
about.
for
Relationships. This
what
is
they're
love and
looking
relationships,
for.
Well,
baby.
you almost can't ask Ed because he is, number one, a married man who is the epitome of awesome. I mean, he adores his wife. He is such a gentleman with other women. And that's what I'm saying that men need. See, you to asking him,
Oh,
he's
he
a
the only
married,
man here other
but
than Earl,
yes,
and Earl
but
just
but
walked out.
he's a married man, and that's why I said he needs to tell some of these single guys,
No,
listen
your
here,
next
fellas.
thing need to be with single men and ask
Yes,
them what it is they want.
Yeah.
Because
that's what we.
I am of the opinion that there are a lot of quality men who are unfortunately stuck in unhealthy, unhappy relationships, and they lack the courage to get
Again,
out.
yeah.
And they know in their soul and their spirit that they're not happy, and the woman may not be happy either. I had a friend who, we were having a conversation, and she admitted that she was just settling, wasn't really happy, but and I said, well, why are you still there? And she said, I'd rather the devil that I know than one that I don't. And I said, well,
Wow.
why would it have to be a devil?
In the first place,
Why? But they'd been together for a while, and she lives vicariously through me and other single women, because she's married but not really happy, and
So she's married, but not really
not
married.
really, not really.
Wow. And that
And
is
and I
sad.
and I venture to say there are a lot of people like it. There are a lot of people that I am sure are happy and madly in love, but I venture to say there are a lot of people
the majority.
who are stuck in unhealthy relationships, and they, both the male and or the female, lack the courage to break free.
And I think because they've become accustomed or used to.
Well, that's why I always say you give up on life. The people, a person with courage would give up and leave.
Mm-hmm.
And a person who's just afraid and scared will give up and stay.
But And that's you're right on that. But then I understand when you say that you can be in a relationship that's not so good, but then who's to say that the next one could be worse?
But who's to say the next one
Well,
can't be greater or
right.
better?
Because I know I always use mine as an example. Ed was I had come. I was so happy that I was not the kind of woman to shy away. I gave him an opportunity, whereas the relationship that I had before that was just a nightmare.
Okay.
And then my first husband, it was a nightmare, and the one after it was a nightmare, nightmare.
Nightmare too.
Yeah. So for me to be open
Sequel.
to receive Ed, it was a pure blessing.
Well,
Gentlemen, I want you to call in 708-223-8953.
I think another thing too with you and as Pat is saying is individuals with courage. I think they focus more on what they want rather than what they don't want. A lot of people always say, "Oh, I don't want no relationship like this. I don't want no man like this. I don't want." I don't want that. Rather than then focusing in on what you want. You wanted a relationship. You wanted a guy that was loving. You wanted a guy who treat you like you felt you needed to be treated. You came from a father who loved you,
Absolutely.
and you saw how he treated your mom.
Absolutely.
See, and when women see that, and when men know that with their dads, you have a foundation for something that's good. And of course, you can veer off and meet people, and then get into a crazy situation.
Yeah, because
But
my brother
deep down,
they couldn't even imagine
Yeah.
why I would even get involved with anybody like
that would do that. And then
Yeah.
your brother, he's a wonderful man, just a sweetheart, Clarence. He and his wife have been married for years. I mean, there are guys out here that are just so sweet, so gentle, so loving, and there's so many women who want that. And that's why I say I really do think that it's going to take a situation whereby men who are, as Pat said, are courageous. You're gonna have to say, "Hey, man, I don't know why you're doing that. You don't need to do that. This is what you need to do if you want a good relationship, or do you want a good relationship?" Now, maybe
And then
they
you have
don't.
to say too, it's
you know.
not always, no relationship is without flaws.
Yes.
You're gonna always, there's still, likes, dislikes. I mean, that to be pretentious or to be, I wouldn't trade Ed for all the tea in China. But when you look at things, it's just a thing that, you have to be realistic too in your relationships, because, that's what genuine love, the bad comes with the good. But you look and you outweigh, because at one point, Ed and I, what we did, and which was something that I thought was very, very good, we wrote the pros and cons, things that you need to work on, or or do a thing of what outweighs what, and then you work on that, and but you work on it together, and you work on it out of love. Like, we never go to bed angry with each other. That's not to say that we don't have words or whatever, but the reality of it is that he loves me, I love him, and it works. I never have to worry about. Ed is not one, because I'm loud. My voice tone, it's loud, and I know that it annoys him too, because Ed is not the type of man. He's not real loud. He's very peaceful minded, and that's something that that I always have to be conscious of and work on. But I tend to be loud, and I do get that from my mom. But as far as a lot of arguments and things like that, no. We tend to, and if we do, we laugh at it and it's over. But life, people have to understand that that relationships are work.
Absolutely.
It's work. You can't think that everything is going to be peaches and honey, peaches and cream. When you care for each other, your partners. And I think one of the things, he gave me a beautiful Valentine's card, and he said I was his wife, but more than that, I was his best friend. I really love that too. And I mean, and what was awesome about it was he hand wrote that. And that was, I mean, the words and the cards that he gives is just, that he took his time and picked it just for me.
Yeah.
But then when he hand writes the extra,
Sure.
that means a lot.
Sure.
And I think that, men need to understand that to have a great, great sister in your life is strength for you through all households. And that doesn't take anything away from a man, but through all households, the woman is the strength. And when you have a good sister, wonderful women like you, I personally think men are missing out. I do.
We have an advocate.
Now, seriously, and I think, and it's not only Pam and Pat. There's a lot of sisters out here that are beautiful women, and I mean, and I'm not talking just on the outside. I'm talking about inwardly, that just want to love a man, hold him, go through if he's sad about something for a moment, just to lift him up and build his morale up, be that strength to him, and that doesn't make a man weak. That makes a man strong when he can recognize the strength of a strong woman and admire it, embrace it, love it, and say, hey, she's mine. And I think a lot of brothers kind of miss that. That's what's sad, because I don't know what they're looking for.
Well, they never been taught that, how do you treat your possessions? If you think that's yours, then how do you treat it? How do you take care of
But
them?
now most women out there wouldn't want to sound, and you definitely
No,
like
I'm
that.
not talking about
Don't
that.
use the word possession.
Well, I'm not talking about it's a responsibility of knowing that these are my responsibilities. If this is my wife, then she also has my representative. She is part of me. So therefore, you be careful about what you say. I can tell you, I got talk about they ladies, they women, call them names, whatever. She don't do this. But that's your woman. Why are you talking bad about her to me? Because she's actually you telling on yourself. Because that's your person that you chose to be in your life. So why are you putting her down? Because basically, with any problems, half of it is your fault in the first place. So therefore, you need to fix it with them instead of telling me. But that's what we do because they're afraid. Most men are just afraid of relationship. Plus they're not being taught. I mean, if you're young teenage, 17, 18 years old, you're growing up, there's nobody around to tell you how to treat a woman. Nobody. Grandpa didn't have a father in the family, her side or his side, to teach him how to treat a woman.
Well, you didn't come from the greatest household. Where did you learn it from?
I studied. I grew up
Because
basically.
you're very much a
No,
gentleman.
I grew up kind of alone, so I had a lot of time to spend researching myself.
There it is.
And once I found myself, I understood everybody else.
And that's where it is, Ed. You, men and women, you have to be bold enough, courageous enough to do a self-analysis. I mean, what is it that you want, you personally, you individually, what is it that you want out of a mate? Because this is who you are. And I think another thing that we don't do, and I'm not going to say men, just men, but women as well, when you don't know what it is that you want out of a relationship, you don't know when you find it. You don't know when it comes
If you don't know what you want, you'll probably get it.
Exactly. Anything.
It'll be
That's
anything.
what it will become.
So you won't even know if you get it. You just settle for whatever it is.
Well, I think one of the things that people need to do is to be equally yoked. Meaning, if you like a lot of the same things, if you enjoy doing some of the same things, that's another thing. I mean, if you enjoy the same things, if you enjoy the same feelings, then you will be comfortable to give that to someone else.
Absolutely.
I think that you have to zero in on who you are and what it is that you want. And then that's what you would attract, what you give out. We've been given a raw deal talking about opposites attract. actually is like attracts like. So we have to be more conscious of what is it that you like? What is it that you enjoy? What kind of woman, man are you looking to be with? And I mean, I'm not saying that you doing that, but you're open, like you were saying that you were open to a relationship.
Oh,
You were
absolutely.
open because you knew you didn't want that what you had before.
Right.
So when you saw this gentleman here and he was the way he was, bam, there it was. And what else did you have to do but to enjoy it?
Yes.
But it still boils down to courage, because
I love that word.
whatever is
Pat.
said and done, it all boils down to courage,
Mhm.
because it takes courage to be honest with yourself.
Mhm.
It takes courage to do real good self-analysis and to be self-aware. It takes courage to be open and honest. It takes courage to turn someone away just because they like you, but you know that they're not for your highest good. It takes courage. Courage is the most important quality and characteristic to possess, because
Mhm.
with courage you can do everything else.
Yeah.
Courage gives you the ability to be honest, to live with integrity, to be authentic. Courage gives you that, and it's something that you have to develop. But again, it is something that requires self-analysis and self-awareness, and you have to take time with yourself to identify who you are, who you want to be, and who you want in your life.
And I think that's very important as far as, and we talk about choices all the time too. And that is what is so amazing and so wonderful, is because we can make those choices. We can say who we want in our lives and who we really don't, and a lot of people, and as we always say too, you embrace life, life will embrace you back. But I think one of the things that, um, I would like to see is that we really do need to try and get some single men to really come on and talk about. And I really want Josh, because you have a wonderful, wonderful son, and I just want to be able to see what a single man feels. What type of opposition has he come about with women, and to find out exactly, where his head would be, and then why is he single, what makes a man, because it's more, women are more plentiful, what still makes a man discontent, because when you have one woman, basically as far as, sexually, you've had all, so I'm saying that what makes a man cheat? What makes a man not be honest with his feelings? Uh, um, is it because he knows that he can have other women because there's more women than men? So that kind of thing. What makes a man necessarily want more than one woman?
Right.
The fact that they're different, in look or whatever, but the bottom line is it's just not.
That's not it. Oh,
You don't think
I don't know.
No.
No, you have to ask a man that.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And,
So I can ask
And a man
yeah,
who's
and-
honest.
right, that's what I was
You
going to
know.
say. He would
Oh,
have to be
absolutely.
honest enough to just say what it is he wants. And here's the funny, or the, I don't know if it's funny or tragic part, is that if men were honest with what they want, they may still be able to get that, because there are some women who may be at a certain stage and phase in life that would be okay. But when you lack the courage to be honest, you lose and mess up a lot of things that you may have been able to get and obtain anyway.
Yeah.
And when the trust is broken, that's
what makes it
sometimes it's
difficult.
just,
You're right, Pat.
very difficult to repair. So, because everybody's at a different age and stage in their life at a given time. And who you are at 20 is not who you are at 40. And who you are at 40 is certainly not who you are at 60.
Absolutely.
And so, when you meet people, if they're at the same space in the same time, then it may very well work. Some people are afraid, I don't want to say that I don't want to get married. Well, you may meet someone who don't want to get married either, but you could still have a healthy, loving relationship. I mean, when you're honest to say what it is you want, that's when you should be able to get that through energy and through the universe. But
like Pam said, you have to have enough courage to research and find out what it is that you want and who you really are, and have the ability to test and verify.
And that
because
is
we don't
really
test and verify.
critical.
We never
That's
do
right.
that. We find people that got some of the attributes we want and we like, and we go with that. But we don't test it to see if it's real.
Explain that, Ed. Explain testing it to see if it's real.
Well, I say it like this: if you want a person to find out how they treat their family or how they treat their mother or their parents, you have to set it up on purpose. And so we're going out to have dinner with your family, or we're gonna stop by and I want to bring something. It's mothers that want to bring your mom something. See what the reaction is, and find out how do they respond to that. Because you have to do this stuff on purpose. You're not just doing it and forgetting about it. You're doing it to see exactly what her response is going to be and her attitude toward it. Because I did that once.
Right.
I was going to young lady, and I said, I was gonna get you something. I will get your mom something too. She don't need nothing.
Oh Lord.
Right. Really?
Yeah. I'm the only one we need to buy something for. I was like, okay.
See, you knew then.
I said, okay, now I know where that's coming from.
Right.
So you have to test.
Right.
And see.
But you didn't do that
I
as a
agree.
test in your mind. That was something that you really wanted to do, because then that's going right back to when you have to be careful use the term test, because then that's going right back to the fact of being honest.
No, if you want to find out anything, if you learn anything, if you get taught anything, if you need lessons in life, you got to test it, because that's what the universe does to you. If it wants something out of you, it wants honesty, if you want to be dedicated to anything, if I want to find out if you say you got faith, you're going to get tested. Otherwise, how do I know you have it if I haven't tested you?
So you tested me, huh?
I test everybody.
Uh-oh.
So in what way did you test me that I didn't know?
There's no need.
Yeah, no.
And there's no need to go into that, because you all have been married how many years now?
We've been together about 29 years.
29 years.
So let her baby and stuff like that.
Right.
Right. Baby and
Right.
No,
Well, that's what
Whatever the test was, you passed.
Yeah,
You're right
you
about
must
that.
have passed it.
And I think that's one of the things in sort of a roundabout way that Steve Harvey talks about, that 90-day rule, not just 90 days or also on the 91 day or anything like that, but you want to allow enough time within the relationship to see if this person, as well as yourself, is worthy of your time. And you have to be comfortable with that, because actually that's what it is. Because you as females, you have to know.
Test.
You have to know. No, I'm not going to say that.
No,
You have
That
to
goes for
know
men too.
that you. No, this is what I'm going to say. That you are the prize. But you know what?
And don't let that package be open too soon.
But you have to carry yourself that way.
That's what I'm getting ready to say. See, and so when you get somebody come upon you and they do not fit what you feel goes with you, as you are the prize, and you carry yourself. Now, if you really believe you're a prize, you're gonna carry yourself that way. Now, if you don't and you think you do, you're gonna get something else. But I'm saying that you have to be confident again and secure in yourself to know that there's some things that you will deal with and some things that you just will not. And you have to just cut that off. That be nice, be pleasant, be wonderful. You don't have to cut anybody down, or you don't have to be, all of that. But you have to know where you stand.
Absolutely.
And when you're approached, if someone does not come to you correct, you need to let them know that.
No,
Don't say anything about that situation that I told you. Don't tell that story.
No. I got
You
tickled.
better not.
I got tickled about this. We evidently this old guy was listening to Pam and I when we came out.
When we came out the
basketball,
just now.
just a little while ago. And so What did he say to you, Pam?
He says, "Can I go with you, ladies?" No, he said, "Can I have one? Can I have one of those?"
Yeah, you said,
Yeah.
"Can I have one of those?"
Can
And
I
you
have one
said,
of the-" I says, "One of what? One of you ladies."
"Right."
And I said,
great come on line, right?
"Oh, what?"
Yeah.
I said,
So
"Oh,
Yeah.
Pam was so very. She
Oh,
said,
I
"Well,
know
thank
her.
you very, very much."
Yes.
She was very, very appropriate, very, very nice. She said, "Well, thank you so very much."
But no."
I was waiting on her to say, "But that would be a no."
That would have
You
been
know,
my
that's
line.
what
Yeah.
I say.
But I don't ever want to tear any guys down because listen, seriously, when I say my dad, oh my goodness, he is awesome.
A
And
wonderful man.
I got four amazingly
brothers.
wonderful brothers. They crazy. You know, I don't know what kind of relationship they have with the women in their lives, but I know how they are with me, and that has affected me. I have cousins, male cousins around our age and that we all grew up with. And our family, I mean, I just have never had a situation where men have been just so out of place. And if they do get out of place, I know where to go to
Get them back
make sure
in
that
place.
they get back in place. I got a couple
Right.
of brothers or cousins. Well, I did have one incident with somebody, said, but we won't tell that story either. That's for another show. But anyway, I'm just saying that
You all come from love,
we really
like you
did.
said.
We
all come
we
from
really
a
did.
wonderful, wonderful family.
Our uncles, our cousins, our brothers, and even their friends.
Exactly.
You know, so
you know what's great about it is you all, like you said, you've had some wonderful examples.
Mhm.
You know, you already know what you're looking for.
Now, it's not to say we've had good relationships. Now, of course, you know, my marriage didn't last very long because I can't take anything. I just have a zero tolerance for nonsense. I mean, zero. And you know, that may be something that I need to work on. I don't think so, but I might have to work on that because I really do have a zero tolerance for foolishness
of course,
and
you wouldn't
nonsense.
think so, no.
Now, this one here, now y'all know this is my sister. This one here, I say I have a
I've
zero
had-
tolerance.
I've
She
had
says
great
negative zero. But
I've had
good relationships
I've had
too.
very good
Yes, we
relationships.
have.
And I've been honest, and
Mhm.
most of them have ended because we were at different places at different times in life. And the reason I can still say that I've had good relationships is because what's today's date? Today is
the
February
18th.
the 18th. I can reach back to any of the guys that I've dated, and a lot of them have a relationship with. I could still talk to them, call them. If I needed something, I could reach out to them.
That's awesome.
We just broke up because we were at different places at different times. The ones that were really well. Some of them, you know, it's just timing.
Yeah.
So I really
But that's
can't
good when you can say
yeah,
that.
and
Yeah.
I've been able to still keep good relationships. A couple of them got married. You know, went to business together with his wife and his friend. I mean, so we still have a relationship because we didn't break up on bad terms. We were honest
with each other.
And it was just timing.
And timing is very, very
It's
important.
very important. And you have to be honest with that. And we have no regrets. And the time that we spent together was good.
Quality
and so,
good.
you know, that's why I'm saying if you have the courage to be honest and you're not trying to do anyone a disservice, you can still go your separate ways, but still have respect for each other. And I think it is possible.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Right.
So, fellas out there, you know, get a little backbone and be honest. Okay,
Get some courage, Pat.
Nobody's going.
Well, wait a minute,
That's
Pat.
a
You
perfect
said
word,
develop
courage.
Develop courage.
How do you develop courage, Pat? What do you think?
Work.
No, you got to. You have the courage is pushing yourself to do something you really don't want to do in the
Right.
face of fear.
Right.
I'm afraid this person's going to turn me down and call me a kind of name,
Right.
but I'm going to ask her anyway,
Right.
and be willing to take whatever the repercussions of that is. That's courage.
And rejection
Now, what
is
about-
not the end of the world.
There it is. Now, what if someone approached you and they're really and truly really appears to be really a nice guy and everything, but he might not necessarily look facially or you know, I mean,
Not a handsome guy,
yeah, not very
based
handsome.
on your standards.
Right. Based on, and you always say that because there are no ugly people in the world.
Not
They're
to me.
inside.
Since I
is
didn't make
what's ugly.
anybody,
But if a man is not that attractive, but he might have other qualities. How would you look at that, Pat?
Between.
Pat. She
See?
said
I
Pat.
said Pat.
She said Pat. See, y'all don't know. She said Pat. Look at that. Ooh.
Now he's sharp. I mean,
What makes him sharp?
I mean, his whole
Yeah, he's
the way he
neat,
dresses,
clean.
his spirit.
No, I mean, I would not. There's, you have to
Like
be
some people, like Seal, for example.
right. You have to be attracted to some people. You have to, because attraction is the first thing that you're going to see to do that. Right. But if you get to know someone and their physical, attraction may not be what you want initially, that's where the honesty and the courage come in. If they possess everything else that you are looking for, that you say you wanted, and you allow that to be your deterrent, then that's on you. That's because you're being shallow, because that is not the end all be all, just the physical. But again, that's where you have to know who you are. And if you're willing to lose a good potential relationship person over the physical, then, that's your level of being shallow. I would say.
So you did.
Absolutely. And you have to be open to that.
Because Bob, the physical is what you're initially attracted to. That's just initial, but that doesn't last long.
Absolutely.
That's almost like sex. First couple minutes, that's it. After that, I want to get to know who you are.
That's
How
right.
do you feel? What is your life? What's your passion? Do you have any passions at all? About anything. Those are the things you research when you talk about vetting a person, or just for another word, testing. I want to know what you really like, not opposed to what you just said. I want to see what you really like.
But I like the idea also that you like the way you feel when you're with that person.
That's what's
important.
I like that. You like the way you feel, or when
How
you're not with them, and then you want to be with them. And so, but that's like you were saying earlier too. You want to give it a chance. Right. That's how you test it. You want to see it, and if the person is not aesthetically what you think you might want, but then when you are not with them, you're thinking about them, you wonder what they do.
Feel.
Yeah, how do you feel when you're with them?
It's got to be reciprocal.
Absolutely.
I want to see what's your reaction when you see me come.
Yeah. Yes.
So Pam, you answer that as far as the.
Well, yes, that's what I mean. I think that's what's important too, how you feel. But again, I really feel you have to be open, but you have to be open before you even meet someone. So the question that you're asking, I mean, that's one of the things that I think we as women and sometimes men.
I know sometimes it's a lot.
Yeah, we miss a lot because you're looking for a certain type of person.
Right.
And then, I mean, you could just look right past someone.
You could look right past your blessing.
Yes.
Really.
So if we could just beforehand, just stop and say, I'm just going to be open. I'm going to be receptive. I am going to send out that energy that I am available.
Yeah.
This is what they
see. But that all starts with the subconscious mind.
Yes.
80% of all communication is nonverbal.
Absolutely.
So if I introduce myself to someone, say, "Hey, how you doing?" They turn around and say, "So how are you doing?" You can see a steel door just slam. Bam. Ain't nothing happening at that point. Mm-hmm. They don't see it, but you see it. But you ignore it. Why? Because you talk to this person because they look nice.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, but if somebody if somebody don't make you feel good, I mean, even in a split second, they don't say anything. They say
no, but that's our God consciousness telling us what the deal is. But we override that because we want to meet this person. We want to get to know them after we've already been shown the entire relationship slam. Before we shook their hands. We knew it. Subconsciously, you knew it. But you're going to make it work because they look nice. What's the name?
And then 25 years later, you're in an unhappy marriage.
Right.
See?
That's how it happens. I give it 7 years. I give everybody at least 7.
No, Ed gave 5.
Well, he gave you 5.
No, he gave me 5. I gave him 5.
Hello.
And then we walked down that aisle. I said, "Okay, now it's 5 years up." But usually that's basically the people you want. Basically, were 5 years, right?
Yeah, 5, 7.
You dated somebody for 5 years?
Yeah.
To give them
I had long relationships. I didn't have no.
That's so nice.
No, he wasn't one to,
I didn't have no.
Dip and dab here and there.
No, because you have to live with these people.
Right.
You shouldn't mess with nobody that you the one in your life later on. Because if you're embarrassed by them, you don't see them.
Right.
I had to turn down people. I like you. I said, why?
what was the what you told me? What about the one? Ed, share that about you was in a club or something, and somebody said something. What did they say? And you said, "Yeah, right," or something.
No, that's embarrassing.
No, it's not, baby. Just say it. It's okay. Courage.
She's telling him to have courage to tell a story. Tell it. She said you gotta have courage to tell the story.
No, I got sick of people being so superficial.
Because he was a star boy. He really was.
And it was all because I used to hang in the streets a lot, and everybody was just plastic people to me. And I had a bunch of women tell me how they liked me and stuff like that. No, you don't. Right. And one lady said, I like you. I was like, you just met me. You don't know me.
Right.
You don't like nobody. Come on, man.
Exactly. Right.
So,
you shot her down.
I was kind of mean. I was kind of mean guy because I went straight for
the jugular.
Right. I want one barmaid called me Mr. Straight Up and Down. I said, because I didn't like it. I just tell you. Mm-hmm. He said, why don't you go find something to play with? Because I ain't the one.
Right now. Right. Right. See, you had a zero tolerance for foolishness as well. That's what happened.
But I don't think that was necessarily foolishness if someone was complimenting you.
She didn't compliment him in a way that he received it.
She wanted something out of me.
Yeah.
You know me?
Right.
Most people don't care about you personally. They care about themselves and how they feel when they're around you.
Well, that's what we just said. That's important.
That's a selfish motivation. I want to be around you because you make me feel good. Making you feel good is not on my program.
No, Ed, it's not like that. It's how I feel about you.
That's two different
when I'm with you.
But you just met somebody, you don't know.
Yeah, so you can't let them. You were right about that, and you need to let people know. Because see, that is superficial. How do you know you like somebody? Well, right. I mean, if you like them physically, but I mean, come on.
I was kind of up there.
Yeah, you was up there. Yeah.
I was like, we're not having it that day.
Does our producer have any comments, Wanda B?
I see her making faces over there and everything. Yes, I see her making.
No, I just had it that day with superficial people because I found that my wife wasn't crazy about me either. Because I was just too straight up, and her motivation for us getting married was because I was going to Vietnam. She thought I was going to die.
Oh,
that's what I felt. I mean, that's what I felt. The reason you did it because you figured I wasn't coming back anyway, and you get the money.
Oh wow!
Oh really?
Because everybody who got killed got $10,000.
Oh really?
Their spouses, back in the '60s, that's a lot of money.
Right.
Mm-hmm. So after 7 years, I kind of figured it all out. So I can tell by your reactions,
Yeah.
And then after you play with
when you came back from Vietnam, what did she look at you and say? You're back, and in one piece.
No, it wasn't one of those, baby, I'm glad you're still alive. One of those things. It wasn't there because after I played back my picture of my life, I could see everything.
Mm-hmm.
You can see everybody's reactions. You can see everybody. You can see the whole deal. And after I played it back, I like, how come I didn't see that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I ended. I said, you know what? You ain't my wife.
Right.
Goodbye.
Zemrah, my wife. You just wait and see. And then a few years later, like how many years later? 30 or something?
But you would think, though, at a certain age and stage of life, things would be a little different and people would be more tired of games or ready to be honest. And unfortunately, that has not been my experience. You still have men well in their
50s,
60s who are still saying dumb things. I mean, for a man to meet you and in your first conversation or date to start talking about sex is such an exposure of his mentality that it's like really and so me personally, because I'm at the age and stage in life, like you bold enough to say it, then I have to be bold enough to express it. So when they come with foolishness, I gotta give it back.
So, I mean, and that just makes sense because, like you said, at this stage and age in your development, you're talking about quality. But we got to wind it up. It's getting near that time, as always. You know, when you're having such a great conversation. Again, you're here at IntellectualRadio.com with Here's the Life with Zemrah and Ed, and the two lovely sisters who are my friends and sisters, Pamela Welks and Patricia Creighton. We just, and they both really and truly are very intuitive. They know people. Pat works with people every day, so she definitely knows the innerness. I mean, people and how they think, how they move, and it's just, it's kind of sad at this point in time, like you say, that people don't get it. I'm saying that people really don't get it. Like she said, at this time you come up talking, meet somebody, and that's the first thing you think about. Your mind has to get a little bit more substance because you know that that's coming. But anyway, I want to thank you all for joining me.
You're welcome. Thank you so
and
much.
being here. I always love having you, and love is possible,
Yes,
regardless of what. They know that love is possible. I want you to know that love is possible if you believe it is. And Ed?
Yes. Stay tuned every week to Intellectual Radio, where we talk about anything and everything. And I want to thank my girl Wanda and my man Earl for allowing me to be myself again.
We got a couple other great shows coming up. March 3rd, we have a great drummer and musician, Mr. Harold Morrison, that's going to come on and talk about his new CD and some great things that he's doing. And then next week, we have Miss Audrey Kate and her husband talking about love and relationships. This was our love month, and we hope you enjoyed this segment. Thanks again. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.
No hope for love, you can make your dreams come true. If you know just what to do, you just think. Love is possible when you believe that you're free.